Hi, guys. Okay, so check this out. Fran and I recorded for almost 3.5 hours, just a mere 4 or so hours before Joe Biden announced that he was dropping out of the race for president. The first 30 minutes of this podcast is about the current political climate, or at least the political climate 4 hours before the conversation that we were having. So while I could have just scrubbed it, I still felt like there were things that still have some context and still matter that I wanted to put out, even though in a way the whole conversation is kind of passe, old as fuck news. But we had the conversation, right? Like we talked, so you guys listen. That's how this works, right? So I felt like some context was important. That context being the world changed a mere 3 or so hours after we hit the stop button. As I stated a few seconds ago, we recorded for almost 4 hours. So this podcast was broken down into a two-parter. So I hope you guys enjoyed part one. As I said, keep in mind the conversation that we're having up at the front of the pod is a conversation that was had just hours before Joe Biden announced that he was dropping out of the race. And the rest was history. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Let's get to it.
Yeah, obvious, we got a problem here. And it's more than just Alvin streaming Punisher. When life begins to suck, who's reporting it? Luckily, you got two friends who you won't forget. Coming live, Alvin and Fran on survival. Laughing non-stop, case drops on a cycle. Louder than intrusive thoughts off an iPhone. How they make the world seem bright with the lights off? AFs, it might as well stay up. Lies being told like that dinosaur BS. Magnifying glass to the ground if they don't see us. Having the time, roasting your favorite pizza. Bougie ain't an option, it's the ways. Make it to the grave, add moving to the place. You already know when they take the case. Laugh the pain away, it's affirmative.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Affirmative Murder, the equal opportunity true crime comedy podcast. I am Alvin Williams, joined as always by my partner in true crime, Fran and Evans.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Yeah, man, I'm the mailman. Can't you tell, man? Gonna post on.
What up?
What's up, brother? It's Fran.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, the last episode that we recorded was recorded probably like a week before we put it out. So we've not recorded in some time, and boy, oh boy, the world has changed in a lot of ways since the last time we spoke. I don't even know where to begin. The world just feels so much different since the last time we potted. Let's just go ahead and start with the sad dark news. Richard Simmons died. So RIP to him, the king fitness guru of America. Great shorts, great hair, great tank tops. Sad loss. 70-something. I think he was 75 years old. Died after celebrating his birthday. Day after his birthday passed, yes. Richard Simmons.
I mean, does it really matter how much exercise you do? Does it really matter?
Damn, no, that's a conversation I don't know if people are ready for, man. Because I mean, I'd rather eat the 40-ounce steak and die happily than, I've been doing ab rollers and all this stuff my whole life, miserable, eating celery all the time, and then we go out the same way.
I think I'd rather eat the Big Mac and just be happy, man.
They are banging.
They are not fair.
Yeah. Obviously, we're joking. There's more, crazier things in the world. It's a crazy time. One that really struck me. It threw me for a loop. It made me lose my bearings in like reality and time and like what it all means and what the future of life looks like. Shannon Doherty passed away. So me, Fran, I grew up watching Charmed. I was a big Charmed stan. The Hallowell witches were a big staple in my life. They wore bandana shirts, which did things to me as a prepubescent child. I just thought that was like, I didn't think it could get any sexier than that. I mean, a legend in Hollywood, a little brash, but a great lady. She was fighting some things, and she's no longer with us. So, a hole in me, Fran, that I don't repair for. Fran, give your thoughts on Shannon Doherty, please. Thanks.
I don't know who that is, so I don't have rest in peace. I guess I don't have any thoughts outside of sending my condolences to her family.
So you never watched Charmed?
The TV show? No.
Cultureless, I see.
You don't even look like you watched that show. I think this is all bullshit.
I don't look like I watched that show. What does that mean?
You don't seem like a charmed guy to me. I think this is bullshit. I think
What does a
people-
charmed guy look like to you?
I don't know.
Would you like to?
Not you.
You can't quiz me on the
I
show.
clearly know it ain't you.
What powers did Phoebe, Piper, and Paige? Oh my God, what? Phoebe,
know their names.
Piper, and Prue. What powers did Phoebe, Piper, and Prue have? Oh, I'll tell you. Prudence Hollowell. Prue, played by Shannon Doherty. Prue had the power to move things with her mind, move things. You know. Phoebe had the power of premonitions. She could see the future. And
You know what's interesting about you telling me this?
yes,
I don't care.
Piper
You're
could
telling
free-
me
Piper
about-
could freeze time.
I don't give
Continue.
a
Yes.
shit. I don't care about whoever this.
Then
this
comes
show
Rose McGowan. She also had a name that starts with a P. I will admit I do not remember. It's been a long time.
Sure.
But she was half angel and half witch. So she had some kind of teleportation powers and things of that nature. Great show.
That show came
So-
out, what, 15 years ago?
Oh, way more than that. It came out in like
Yeah,
1999.
Super long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, listen, man. You're a hater, and I don't like your racist comment
not a
about
hater.
I don't look like a guy that watches Charmed.
How is that a
We
racist
both
comment?
grew up
It's
watching
not
Reba.
racist because I can say
We
it.
both grew up watching Reba. So what do you look like? A
I
guy
love
that was
Reba.
the Reba demographic?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I love
then.
Reba.
So then don't come at me.
Barbara Jean. I
Barbara
love
Jean,
Reba.
I mean Van, a legend. Great comedic timing, both of them, Barbara Jean and Van, and Reba. Great show.
I love Reba. Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
Touche.
So don't come at me with your stereotypes about how people look and what they watch based on what they look like. Because
Yeah.
I probably look like I watch a lot of sports. I don't watch that much sports,
You don't.
but I watch enough to be able to pretend like I watch sports. So, with that being said, though, all right, we can get into the real talk. I don't really want to get into it,
Let's
but we
get
have
into
to get
Let's
into it a
get
little
into
bit.
it.
I am the chosen one.
Because he is. I mean, I don't know what else to. I don't know.
Like a script from a Hollywood production company. Trumpito, Donald J. Trump, the 46th president of the United States. No, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
45, potentially 47 now. 45, an assassination attempt was made on his life in one of the most movie-like fashions I've ever seen at a rally in Pennsylvania. An attempt was made on his life by a 20-year-old registered Republican. It's important to note that. Facts are important still. Apparently he was shot on his ear, but his ear didn't blow off. Just enough for him to have a little bandage on his ear like Nelly. The perfect photo op. The hardest picture of the 2024. If we're going to have conversations about the world, we have to be
It
able to
is.
remain objective
can't.
and
Yeah.
and talk reality. If there's no better in 2024, I remember maybe in like 1970s, 1980s, what a campaign poster looked like was probably a guy feeding kids in a suit, shooting a basketball shot in the community and being like, I'm one of you guys.
Yes.
In the year 2024, I can't think of a better presidential rollout photo than because, and again, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories because it's a weird rabbit hole and it would. So let's just keep it to facts. There's a nut job out there. We talk about mental health all the time. There was a nut job out there, got something in his brain, tried to kill a guy running for president. Let's leave it at that. A guy running for president who's controversial, surviving an assassination attempt, because that's what happened. And that shit sounds hard. And I'm not trying to glaze the dude, but that sounds hard. Like, we can talk about what it looked like, how he's acting post the attempt and all that kind of stuff. But Donald Trump, the worst person to be able to say this now, because there's nobody he gloats about things. I'm tall, I have great knees. Like the things that he brags about are meaningless. His golf swing.
Yeah.
He can now go around and say, somebody made an attempt on my life and I survived.
Yeah.
And then the picture of the flag with the blood on his ear and the fist in the air.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying it locked up the presidency for him because I feel like you're
It
either
did, for
going to vote for
sure.
him or you're not going to vote for him. But that picture swayed some people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a percentage of people that it swayed, but it was art imitating life. I just got back from the beach like a week ago. All down the boardwalk. The shirts of him like wrestling a shark, stabbing Vladimir Putin with the American flag with abs. Reality imitated the things that they thought he was, his cult-like fans. They saw him be the thing that they've been wearing on their shirts for the last 4 years. Him like being doctored onto the body of Rambo holding a big gun and shooting a bunch of like terrorists. He became that in real life. So all the things that we joked about or he joked about, I could kill somebody on the middle of the street, still get elected president, that was already cemented. So I don't know what this means now. It really is kind of scary to think that he has the ammunition of that. Like, all of his fans are like, the country's traitors. They will try to kill they tried to kick. They keep using language like that. They tried to kill him instead of this sick when they shoot a school up, they say things like, this guy's crazy. Yeah. This one guy, he's a lone wolf, whatever. But this one guy who people saw climb up on a roof. I have thoughts about that too, but I want to pass them to you before I get into that. But this one guy did this, and now they're saying the Democrats, they wanted this, that you guys caused this. But nobody talks like this when people go shoot up schools. One person goes shoot up a school. We don't talk about the surrounding problems and causes. They want to go, no, we need to focus on that one person. It's not, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But now this guy did this, and it's like, the Democrats made this happen. And so it's crazy the way that these people have to do mental gymnastics to this kind of goes against everything that they've been saying for years. The way they have to defend what happened, they have to be anti-gun kinda and all these things that kind of go against the things they've been saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, first of all, somebody was innocently killed,
which is crazy.
You don't have to talk about that person's background and shit like that, his history or whatever on social media. That came out, but it's still sad for somebody to be at a rally, whatever your thoughts is on that, and to be killed.
Shame on anybody justifying that as well.
Yeah.
Shame on anybody who's like, yeah, man, well, you should be dead. Like, we're going to a dark place. The guy was murdered out of, like.
He was murdered. With his protecting his family, allegedly, is what they said, and it's sad. So, prayers out to that family. I'm not talking about all the other shit they found out. Let's exclude that. Just him being a human being and a person. It's still sad that he was tragically killed. But I mean, other than that, this dude, if I don't know a better word for being like bulletproof. This guy's untouchable.
Teflon Don.
This guy's untouchable. I mean, like, he didn't been in court last couple months, like prison time. Convicted felon. Then he escapes death by a centimeter or inch or whatever it is. It's absolutely insane. For him to turn his head at the last millisecond, and to get his ear grazed, I mean, I don't know, man. You can't write a better script than that. I'm sorry, man.
Now, we could play it's fake game and go, just a week prior to this, people were saying Joe Biden might drop out of the race. They're like, there's all these rumblings. He's tired. He might drop out of the race. Huh?
He should drop out of the race.
Well, we're not going to get into it.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
But he's an old man.
He's COVID. He has COVID now. It's just crazy. It's so sad that these are our choices, because Donald Trump went to the Republican National Convention and was speaking post the shooting. He's out of his mind, too. Everybody's crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. He's taking credit for things that the president is doing. Like, it really is crazy. But yeah, I'm not gonna whatever people.
But I'm not a conspiracy. I'm not into conspiracy. It depends on what it is. I'm not to the level that you are, but it depends on what it is. And these is one of those ones that where I go, okay, where I have like 50 tabs open on my iPad, because I'm like, I see something, I go like, okay, what is this?
Right.
Type of hole I go into. But TikTok kind of helps you.
Oh, they
go into these rabbit holes that you don't want to kind of go into.
They make a 6-part thing of the thing that 10 years ago, something like this would have taken me days to absorb and get all the. It would have been many 45-minute videos, and now you can watch 8 2-minute videos.
That's why conspiracy theories, to some degree, I'll entertain them. But when it gets too drawn out and long, I go, all right, man, this is 2 minutes. This is
for me.
I can't deal with this.
For me, it works enough on its face. These kids today, the social internet, 4chan, all these weird dark websites where people are on these message boards talking crazy and insane. He got radicalized in some kind of way, got some kind of idea in his mind, whatever the case may be. He's lost it. and tried to do this, and he failed because he's 20 years old. He's a kid. They saw him before he took the shot, so now he's panicking. He knows that once he gets these shots off, shots are coming back his way. Here's what I'll say.
But I understand he's dead and he missed, but did he fail though? Can you say that he failed?
If his mission was to kill Donald Trump, then yeah, he failed.
I get that, but like he barely missed.
No, of course, but he failed. Like I mean, like
I
Donald
get that.
Trump
Technically,
should,
yes, he failed, but
should
I mean,
probably be dead based on how close he got, if he got that close. But
he
but
it
failed,
was like he missed it on his own though. He didn't miss on his. It was bad aim. He like
it
just happened to turn his head.
in the sense that like when I'm not a sniper, but like
I'm just saying though. But
there
like
are things that he probably didn't account for that somebody better equipped to, and also the gun was registered to his parents. Let's also say that. So this is a legal gun. This wasn't an illegal gun. These are all problems that we need to address as a nation that all took place in almost killing the guy that these people love so much, right? But the conspiracy outline that I'm concerned about, which is why I feel like we need to keep it in the realm of reality, is that, okay, Joe Biden, they were saying he might drop out of the race. He now has COVID. That's confirmed. He looked rough going up those plane steps. He's tired. He's old. I don't know if he's going to finish the race. There's been rumblings. Boom, a week later, an assassination attempt is made on Donald Trump. If he dies, first of all, if he dies, this country implodes into chaos. I don't know. So that's why I don't see how that was the plan. If we're going conspiracy, which I'm not, I'm saying I think this is just some Looney Tune. But if people want to take the moral high ground in this conversation, we go, okay, so if the assassination attempt was a plan and they took this kid and they brainwashed him, who's this kid? Why can't we find out more information? Then all of this leads back to people who probably don't want Donald Trump to be president. And that points fingers back to Democrats. Yeah. And then if we go, well, he faked it. Again, he faked it. So then we're saying we're openly admitting that people were killed and he went down on the ground and put some fake blood on his ear. Like the Secret Service people were in on it. They did a wrestling thing. We have seen him on SmackDown. He went down, smacked the blood pack on his ear, came back up, fist up. They timed the flag to come, and he knew that if he did this grand stunt, it would propel him into potentially winning the election. I think the truth is in the middle. As far as I think Donald Trump is a showman. He's an expert on TV and moments and things. He's an idiot, but we got to give him credit on that. I think somebody tried to kill this dude, and once that happened, in the moment he went, "Oh, this is done. If I get up right now and show a symbol of strength and I'm unfazed, this moment will be the most talked about thing. It'll lead me into November. I could go chill if I wanted to.
This is forever.
I could go chill until November, and my votes are secured. They're going up, whatever the case may be. I think he knew that moment was what that moment. You know how people are like, when you talk about basketball players and stuff, they go like, you need to recognize the moment. Yeah. Like, this is legacy. LeBron James, if I don't win this game,
was more than him winning the presidential election.
What do you mean?
That's
by
the
that?
type of person he is. Where he's like,
oh, it's like, yeah, no, this is cemented.
Like,
I'm
right.
Rest of history. Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Right.
I agree with you. I think he recognized, because that's how his brain works.
Yeah.
For I'm immortal. I can put myself with the likes of, Abraham Lincoln didn't survive an assassination attempt. John F. Kennedy didn't survive an assassination attempt. I survived an assassination attempt. Some people would say, I'm not saying it, but some people would say that makes me better presidents than them. That's the kind of shit he's out there doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it makes me one, but I'm just saying some people are saying John F. Kennedy didn't survive his assassination attempt, and I did. So that makes me a better president than him. So that's what we have to hear now until this man dies of whatever causes he dies from. And so I just thought it was interesting. I didn't want to go into a whole thing about it and talk crazy or whatever, but this is history, bro. We're living in so many. I'm so tired of living history. I just feel like, I don't know, every generation, probably the things that happened in their life were probably big deals to them. But I feel like, bro, 9/11, 2012, COVID, the 2016 election, so much is like, bro, so much of my life feels like it's going to be a textbook 100 years from now, if this country still exists in 100 years, of things that are just monumental things. I'm just so tired. Like I'm just so.
You think we're gonna exist 100 years from now?
I mean, I don't know about in this iteration. I don't know, if war changes what our flag looks like, who we
War.
Yeah, of any kind. War. I mean, 100 years is a
Oh.
long time. Like a lot can change in 100 years.
Not that long.
We won't be
100
here.
years not that long.
We won't be here. Think about
Kids will be here.
2020. Whose kids?
Our kids will be
My
here.
kid
100
won't be
years
here in
from now?
100 years. My kid who's not born right now won't be here in 100 years.
From right now.
From right now.
Oh.
No, bro, nobody lives to be these. That's why these articles always go viral, bro. Nobody's out here living to be 100 years old like that. It's very
But-
rare.
All right. Right now,
100
kids
years
live
from
to
today, he'd be 100 years
Okay,
years old.
from 80. No. You're right. I'm thinking something else. How you know? You don't know that.
I don't know, but a lot can. My only point is a lot can change in 100 years. I'm just saying, like, new unions can be formed, new allegiances can be formed. The United States could grow, it could shrink, a lot can change politically in 100 years to where this country doesn't look like it looks right now. Is my only point. I'm not saying like humans won't be around. I'm just saying we might not be a democracy in 100 years. That's what I mean. It just could look very different. And so
Project 2025.
right, and so and my whole thing is like, I don't want to get into a whole thing, but I don't like people, because when we come in here, we come on these microphones and we just talk like we would talk if we weren't talking on microphones. I don't like people. I know people want to inform people and all these kind of things. Like, I don't like being talked to like I'm an uninformed person. But I'm not. This is not a political show. I'm not here to go into a whole thing about. I understand what Project 2025 is. I understand the implications of Republicans taking the House and the Senate and the White House and what that could lead to, and what the people that are set up, JD Vance, what they're set up to want to do, the implications on women's bodies, handicapped people. I understand all that. I'm just talking to you from the WrestleMania perspective of this election, in that thing that just happened helps Donald Trump. And if you can't admit that or have a conversation from that perspective, then I don't even want to waste my breath. If you just want to try to tell me about how dangerous it is if they win, I'm not disagreeing with anybody who says that. What I'm saying to you is, we are one of the dumbest nations in the world. This is a giant amusement park. People are stupid. They want to see lights and glams and disses and talk shit. Who's the loudest? Who's the funniest? Who's got the most money? And the guy who has all the quippy disses and the nicknames and all this shit that's incredibly embarrassing on a political stage across the world. But here in the United States, there are a lot of people who are eating that shit up. And they just watched this man get his ear snapped off by a bullet, stand up and do a black power fist, and a flag was over top of his head. You know what I mean? So while I'm offended at the idea, and I'm going to wrap up on this, but while I'm offended at the idea that Donald Trump's idea of appealing to black people is hiring a bunch of nobody rappers to come on the stage and say like, yo, it's Trump's my man. Yo, Joe, go vote for Donald Trump. He's paying these people to do this because he knows there's enough people on the margins that if you can just vote. No, most people don't vote in elections. So it's a game of margins. So if you can get 100,000 people here, 5,000 people here to vote for you, that's why you see like these SoundCloud rappers who are coming out publicly pro-Trump. That's not by coincidence. That's a little bag here. That's campaign finance money. Hey, man, I'm paying for, people pay for Instagram posts. Can you post about my shirt? Can you post? That's all this is, right? But the way that he thinks to appeal to black people is, yo, put some shoes out. Sell them for $350 and say the Trump 5s. Hey, black people, I'm like you guys. I'm a felon. All that gross shit I'm seeing in memes. Yo, maybe Trump is black. He's a felon. He got shot at. He's a this. He's a that. It's like, bro, look at what they think of us, bro. I've never been to jail in my life.
Have you voted recently? Have you voted the last?
I voted in the last election.
You didn't? I didn't. I haven't voted since Obama.
I appreciate your honesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people would say you're not allowed to be engaged in the political discourse, but I don't agree with that.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
I don't agree with that. But my point is, that's how they think they can appeal to black people. Is by being like, yo, you're not going to vote for Donald Trump. You know he got shot, right? Have you heard? He's like they play many men. They're like, yo, he's like 50 Cent. So you relate to that as a black person, right? He went to jail. He's a felon. So you like that. You like felons and felonies.
Yeah.
You're a criminal.
Are there other presidential candidates?
What do you mean?
Who else? Is anybody else that you can vote for?
Not from the parties. I mean, there's a Green Party. There's fringe parties who can vote write-in ballots. But the Democratic National Convention I don't think it's happened yet. But that is the purpose of the Democratic National Convention, is for the person to come up on the stage and accept the nomination as the candidate. So
Gotcha.
Donald Trump at the RNC accepted I will be the face of the Republican Party and run as the Republican nominee in the election.
Got it.
I think you can vote Democrat, Republican, or you can write in, or you can vote for like a Green Party, that which is a third fringe party that nobody votes for. Ralph Nader ran as a and like an outside fringe candidate for years, and he would always snag like 2% of the vote. So people believe that a lot of times that kind of stuff, people do that to split the vote a little bit. It's like if I can steal, if they don't, it's not that I'm getting votes, it's that who I'm taking votes from. So sometimes somebody will run. People accused Elizabeth Warren of that, and when Hillary Clinton was running, because they were like, "You're a woman, you drop out," because some people might vote for you because you're running, but if you aren't in it, they'll vote for Hillary Clinton, was the belief. So they believe like somebody might stay in the race to fuck up somebody else winning.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough choices.
Yeah, it's they're not great choices at all. I think that they're terrible choices. That's my whole thing, is like when we have conversations like this, I feel like people might take it as me being like, "Yo, I'm voting for Donald Trump," or like, "Yo, isn't Donald Trump great?" And they want to tell me the things that are bad about Donald Trump. Like, do you not think I'm aware, or that Fran is not aware of? We have televisions. We see that this dude's a clown burger with extra sauce. But I also see that Joe Biden can barely make it up a flight of plane steps, and he's out here rambling and muttering.
His viability is being questioned by the Obama, who was a previous president. Like, man, you need to think
that's his man.
Can you do this?
That's his man
at a high level.
I saw a video of Joe Biden from 6 years ago. He had the glasses on.
Totally different person.
He had the glasses on, Silver Fox. Yeah, man, I'm telling you,
totally
I
different
can guarantee that won't happen.
Quick.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you got it, son. He's doing finger point guns. Now he is a demented old man. And Donald Trump is demented in the ways that he's demented. But I'm having a discussion about optics. And Donald Trump is kicking Joe Biden's ass in the optics department.
Yeah. This had nothing to do with who we like.
Has nothing to do with policies.
Objectively, right.
None of
like,
that.
This dude, he won after that. I mean, I don't know what else you can.
I don't want to say that, but I don't disagree with that take if I hear it. I'm not going to say I work in a very blue collar job, as do you, Fran. Now, I know you're out on your own a lot, but when I'm at work, people that talk shit on Donald Trump, people who like Donald Trump, we're all interacting and mingling and trying to watch what we say, because we don't want to get into big arguments. It's a long day. It's hot outside.
Yeah.
I don't want to be arguing with people about politics. But the general consensus at my job is like, that shit was kind of hard. Like, that shit with the picture, he got up, the blood, now I'm not saying that guarantees you to win a vote, or these people might not vote at all, and that might have changed nothing. But optically, Joe Biden looks like this and Donald Trump looks like this. And that matters. I'm not saying it matters in the ballot box 100%, but like it could sway some people to go, well, last time I saw Joe Biden, he was licking an ice cream, couldn't barely finish the sentence. And last time I saw Donald Trump, he was on the stage, fist in the air. The planes was going over him with flags in the sky. They had just murked an assassin, and like he went to his car. Yeah, fight! He was yelling and shit. I said, "Yo, this looks crazy. It looks like a movie." And Joe Biden shit looks like a movie too, but like a very boring, sad movie. And so what people lean on to me, which this worked on me in 2020, and they need to hope that it works on me and other people in 2024, which is that, hey, bro, this isn't about who you like. It's not about voting for Joe Biden. It's about voting against Donald Trump. And I think that some people don't want to hear that shit this go around. I think that's just the reality of the world. And we can't have a conversation about the reality about the world if we all just want to live in our echo chambers where everybody around you is voting for who they're voting for. So you don't want to hear any dissenting opinions or even like any dissenting thoughts that go against like, no, I'm doing this because it's my duty. I'm not saying who I'm going to vote for. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I can say that. But my point is, if we can't have a conversation about, yo, this looks kind of crazy, right? Then what are we doing? Like, that's the whole point that I wanted to be in podcasting and do it with my friend, because we can have conversations with each other and give our thoughts and opinions and speak. And I want the world to reflect that, and I want the community that we exist in to reflect that. And so if somebody has something against or something opposing to what I say, I welcome it. But telling me I can't say something or I shouldn't say something when these are just my thoughts and how I feel,
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're saying anything dangerous. I'm not telling anybody to do anything or not do anything. I'm just saying this is how the world looks. These are the conversations I'm hearing. I know other people have to be hearing these conversations too. You're at your job and you just roll your eyes because you hear somebody being like, I mean, that picture looks kind of good. You're like, fucking Republican. That doesn't mean that. That doesn't. Somebody saying that picture looks crazy doesn't mean you just like dismiss them. They clearly are this way or whatever. Somebody could hate that guy and go, I mean, I don't like that guy, but that picture looks kind of fucking.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was crazy. I'm not saying I want him to win. I'm just saying it don't hurt.
It was plus 1,000 auras, the kids say.
It don't hurt.
His aura went up. His aura went up after that day.
For sure. It doesn't hurt. And if he wins, people, I don't think people realize that if he wins the election, this could have effect on my job because DeJoy is the guy who runs the post office right now. He's like the head. That's his man's.
Right.
So it's like a lot of shit can happen, like privatizing the post office can happen, which he's been wanting to do for a while now since the last time he was elected for president. So like my shit, I don't know what could happen to my job, but like the post office has been losing money for like a decade. So it's like his mail volume is not what it used to be. Emails, you got the internet and shit
Amazon.
like that. The only thing that's been keeping us is packages. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man. I don't know what his plans is, but I did do some research on Project 2025, and that shit was kind of
doesn't look great.
It doesn't look
great. Yeah, man. I didn't want to go on the whole thing. We ended up going out, we'll see how much I edit out of this and whatever. But yeah, it's history, so it needed to be talked about, right? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into some fucked up shit. So stick around. Affirmative Murder is brought to you by Kickoff. Have you ever gone up to a vending machine and seen a Rice Krispie treat hanging by the edge of its life? And you know that if you buy the Rice Krispie treat behind that, you'll have become a vending machine master, pulling off the 2-for-1 special, the ultimate beating of the system. That is until Kickoff came into existence. When it comes time to buy a home, a car, or find a new apartment, a bad credit score can be a big roadblock. But Kickoff found a way to beat the system with a fast and easy way to build credit up safely each month. Sign up for a monthly plan in minutes and start building credit right away for as low as $5. Listen, folks, credit is complicated, but one thing I know for sure about it is that a good score is necessary in life. You can use AutoPay to build your credit while you sleep and never have to worry about missing a payment. So if your credit score could use a little TLC, which who's couldn't these days, join the over 1 million people who are building their credit with Kickoff right now. Get your first month for $1 off at getkickoff.com/AMP today. That's Kickoff at getkickoff.com/AM as in, man, my credit's fantastic. P. This special offer applies to new Kickoff Premium customers for their first month only and is subject to approval and only available on getkickoff.com/AMP. Average impact of 30-point increase in the first month is based on the Equifax Vantage Score 3.0 changes for Kickoff Premium customers with starting credit score below 600 who made their first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024. Payment and credit activity outside Kickoff can have an impact on your credit. Terms and conditions may apply. Offer subject to change. Individual results may vary. Affirmative Murder is brought to you by Hormone Harmony. Are you going through menopause or maybe perimenopause? I've spoken to some of the most powerful women in my life who are experiencing menopause, and they tell me how difficult it is to find comfort in their own bodies. And I've been recommending Hormone Harmony to them all. Hormone Harmony is an all-in-one hormonal balancing solution for women of all ages. Hormone Harmony isn't just a supplement for women going through perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. It's become a phenomenon. Women cannot stop talking about it all over social media. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code AMP at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code AMP for 15% off today. All right, and we are back. Fran, I want to give a little message to the people because we've been doing this for a while, like 7 years or something like that. I think it's been rare that we've repeated stories, but it's happened. In fact, one early episode, I think we came with the same story one time when we were still doing 2 stories.
Yeah, it was early, and it never happened.
Never happened again. I find myself in a situation today where we have a case from our new researcher. I need to message her before I even give her any shout outs or anything like that, because I don't know if she wants to be mentioned. But we have a new researcher. Thank you to anybody who sent out an application or interest in doing the job for the podcast. We really appreciate that. I saw some great ones. People really took time out making these really professional letterheads and everything. It was really cool. But we found a new researcher, and she had a case left over that she's like, if you guys want this, you guys can do this case. And it was about Sean Suiter, the man who was a police officer. He was supposed to testify in the gun trace task force investigation that took place here in Baltimore. There was a show, We Own the City, on HBO Max that came out. And I know we talked about it, but I don't think we did it in the capacity of like an affirmative murder story.
We're from Baltimore, so the name, it sounds so familiar when you hear, you go, oh, I know that story. Even if I don't know all the details, but you go, I know the name and what happened and what's connected with it as far as with the things that went down in Baltimore. So I think for us, it could be a little different.
Right.
Because we know the story, even without doing the research. We know the summary of the basis of what happened in the story. Even we about to get into it, but still. But this story, I think that if you told 20 people to read this story to kind of gauge what people think, I think they would split.
For sure.
Or about what happened in this case. Because it's just one of those type of cases where it's like, it's not so far being persuaded, but you go like, I don't know, the evidence or whatever you read sounds like this, but like other 10 people can go like, I don't know, man. I think it was this. I think this happened. And I think for me still, I think, and I know we talked about it before we started recording, where you had your thoughts on it and what you think would happen, but I'm on the fence.
I get you.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't pick which one, right?
For sure.
Still.
Like the Trump assassination, this story of Sean Suiter and the gun trace task force and the corruption in Baltimore City has all of the elements ripe for conspiracy. Pick the elements off the board and just throw them together in a bag, shake it up, and you can make a sentence that is believable that this is a planned killing, for all the right reasons. It has all the elements of some shady things. And we will get into that in this story. And one thing I'll say before we get started is I can say confidently, based on the diligent research that's in front of me from our new researcher, that if we did talk about this story before in any kind of detail, it is less detailed than what we're about to do today.
For facts.
So if we did do it, we're about to do a significantly better job than we did in the past. For people who don't know, Sean Suiter was a Baltimore police detective, and he was slated to give federal grand jury testimony that could have helped implicate the corrupt Baltimore gun trace task force, which involved Wayne Jenkins and a lot of his henchmen, whose names I don't have in front of me right now. But on the day before his court appearance, he was shot in the head at an extremely close range in a West Side Baltimore alley. The news of his pending grand jury testimony was astonishing and an exciting revelation, because people finally thought that all the corruption that they knew was taking place for all these years was finally about to be revealed on a grand stage. And then all of a sudden, this guy is killed. And from personal experience, Fran, I know you remember, I remember very much when Sean Suiter was killed out of the gates, they thought somebody did it. So they shut the city down. People were scared. They thought police were about to start hemming people up. It was a dangerous time for like a few days after Sean Suiter was found dead, because people were under the impression that a cop killer was running around on the streets. So if you were a young black dude out there hustling or whatever, it's like, bro, you don't want to get hemmed up by the police right now, because they might fuck you up.
Nope.
So I remember that. Like, that was very scary, right? Now, to go into a little bit of detail about Sean Suiter leading up to the investigation. So he was a 43-year-old husband and father of 5. He had worked for the Baltimore police force for over 18 years, which I believe in any city, it's not just Baltimore specifically, but there's a specific amount of time that you need to work, and then you unlock some kind of crazy pension. Police have some kind of crazy retirement plan, like a 6-figure something. When you retire, you get a large lump sum of money, and the benefits and all that stuff is really great. Like, that's the tenure, putting in your time as a cop it really benefits you in the long run. Sean Suter worked as a patrolman, a drug investigator, and a non-fatal shootings unit officer before becoming a homicide detective in 2015. So he kind of did it all. You know, he was on the ground. He was a beat cop. He was a narco. And then he kind of got on sounds like the bureaucratic side as far as the non-fatal shootings unit officer. I guess that's,
Yeah.
you know,
I
don't know
heard
what that. I don't know
I
what
don't
that is. I don't know if you investigate. If you're the person that investigates police shootings or something, I don't know. Like police investigating cops. I don't know if that's that situation. But anyway, he had a nickname. His nickname was Face. He was named that by his colleagues because he had a scar down the side of his face, and he had an outstanding reputation amongst his peers, which is something that I will have questions about as we go further into the story.
Is that a good thing in the police?
That's what I was about to say, especially like now when you find out about the gun trace task force. It's like, I bet Wayne Jenkins had a great reputation among his peers. They all love him. He's Wayne, man. He does the job great. He's always got your back. That's the scary thing about that blue wall of silence. It's like, if you have a great reputation amongst your peers, you need to start to question, are the peers, do the peers have a great reputation? Because if your great reputation is, he's always going to back us. He's going to back the cops. If he sees you do something a little dirty while we're making an arrest, he sees you elbow somebody, he's not going to say anything.
What does that mean?
That's what I'm like.
Because that may not mean the same thing to the public.
It doesn't mean you're a good. It doesn't mean you're a good guy. It just means you back your guys, and that's different.
You're down for whatever.
Exactly.
You're down for if shit needs to. We got to do some shady shit, and you never say no.
Exactly. If I have a friend that I go, yo, my guy, he's a good guy. If I'm ever at a bar and somebody even looks at me the wrong way, he will knock them out. It's like, that's good for you. I don't know if that makes him a good person. So no, but to me, he's the best guy in the world.
To me, he's the best. Yeah.
One time a guy stepped on my shoes. He knocked the guy out, his friend out. Everybody got knocked out. You're like, okay.
I love that guy.
I asked if you think he'd be a good babysitter for my kids. I'm like, he's a good guy to me.
You asked the question.
You want me to call him? Because now you're talking to me a little crazy. I answered your question. You don't want me to bring him up here. It's like, well, if y'all don't want you to bring him up here, then
don't throw dirt in his name because he'll come down here.
In November of 2017, Sean and his partner, David Bomenka, were investigating a homicide from a year prior by canvassing the 900 block of Bennett Place, a neighborhood that had a reputation for being violent. According to his partner, Sean saw a suspicious person in an alley and went to go check it out alone. Gunshots were heard minutes later, and by the time his partner got to where Sean was, he was on the ground with a bullet in his head. A 911 call was placed to police around 4:36 in the afternoon by his partner, who was a junior homicide detective of the Baltimore Police Department. So he was kind of new. So it's kind of like a lethal weapon situation. Like, Sean Suter was like, I'm getting too old for this shit guy. And, his partner was like a young, bright-eyed young detective. The frantic call indicated that his partner on the case, Detective Sean Suter, had been shot and needed immediate attention. Sean Suter died the next day at the University of Maryland Medical Center. There were no surveillance cameras in the alley, no witnesses, and no evidence apart from the recovery of his gun and 3 shell casings from the crime scene. It was verified that he was shot with his approved duty weapon, and the killer was described as a black male wearing a blue jacket with a white stripe on it. And there was a person that matched his description that was seen near the crime. But that could have been his partner. He sees a guy down on the ground, he starts to look around, you just see somebody that might have been running because he heard gunshots. You're in an all-black predominantly black neighborhood, and the first person you see running, you're like, that's suspicious. He's running. Suspect has he's a black male, blue jacket, whatever. If I hear gunshots, I'm running too. And if it's a police shooting happened, you might hear black male. He has 3-inch shorts on. He's wearing a camp collar shirt with 3 buttons unbuttoned. He's wearing really big glasses on his face. He's going southbound. It's like, I'm not the guy, bro. I'm out here. I got my thighs out. I'm just trying to live a slutty lifestyle.
I'm trying to survive.
I hear gunshots.
That's funny.
Black male, mustache, thick. You're like,
he got Birkenstocks on.
Black male wearing little girl palm socks with Doc Martens on, running down.
Slow as shit. Slow.
my heel's slipping out of my Docs. They're cutting the back of my heel. My Band-Aids on the back of my ankles are coming off. I'm booking it though. I'm trying to live.
I don't know, man. Just that was like, all right. Well, he went, saw somebody suspicious in the alley, walks over by himself, which is crazy. Which I heard, I've the videos, man. Twitter X has like, I don't know what's up with X,
right,
or what Elon Musk has done with that platform as far as just like being able to show anything.
Yes. Twitter's always been wild, but I've been seeing some wild stuff.
Insane.
One thing I like is they still do that. Twitter's the best place to see crazy shit that you're not supposed to. It's basically like live leak, but you can just get on it.
Yeah. But I mean, like body cam footage.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that on Twitter.
But one thing I like that Twitter has done recently, I don't know if this is through Elon Musk or this is over the past couple of years, but it's definitely ramped up, is the corrections are way sassier now. So they'll be like, yo, did you see Donald Trump? The day after this, he was eating a steak. I'm like, this is from 2015. This is not true.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Oh, hey, spread false information. Like, no, this
isn't true. It has that kind of tone to it. Like,
I think it helps with. Yeah, I think it helps with like not creating mass hysteria. So
you like to hope that they read that blue lettering underneath the video. They make it big. They put it in a frame, and then the words underneath of it. They're like, no, this is a lie, and here's why. Because
I've seen shit where I was like, what? And I go like, oh,
yeah, oh, thank God. Okay, it's true. Yeah,
no. Thank God.
This is not the killer. They're like, this is not the killer. Yeah. This is a picture of a movie scene.
Yeah, with this and this, when they talk about him walking over there to somebody suspicious in the alley, it reminds me of a video I saw with a police officer. They show his body cam where he pulls up to somebody and they go like, never go by yourself. And it reminds me, and I think that's why when I hear this, I go like, I don't know if I can see. It was whatever. I don't want to say it, but whatever they concluded in this story. Because with the video that I saw, it was like this guy approached some random dude, and it was just like, and it was an attack. Like the guy called him and was like, "Hey, did you call us?" And he was like, "Yeah." And the guy fucking attacked him with like a machete.
Right.
That's what this reminds me of. And I go like, I don't know if that happened.
So you're saying that because he broke protocol and go into his alley by himself, that seems shady? Like he wouldn't do that because he's an 18-year veteran? Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to.
No, I'm saying that him walking over there by himself and it being not a murder.
Right, I got you.
I just can't wrap my head around it.
Well, we will continue, right? And we'll see. We'll see if I'm not trying to change your mind, but we'll just lay out the facts that we have available to us, and we will have another conversation about that a little deeper into the story or at the end. So like I said, Romanka, who was his partner, his recollection of that day placed doubt in the minds of those on the case because he claimed that Suter spotted a suspicious person in a vacant lot that was off of Bennett Place, which is where they were investigating a murder. They were canvassing the area. And Suter instructed him to wait on the corner while he, alone, like you said, investigated the area.
It do sound suspicious of him going by himself. Where you go like, why would you go by yourself? That's why I go like, I'm teetering back and forth on that. When I've read the story twice and still I go, damn it. I can't pick.
I get it. I get it.
I get both sides. I go like, this makes sense and this makes sense, but I don't know.
I think also part of it for you, because it was the same thing for me a year ago, because I haven't thought about the story in some time. But at the time when I was really into it, which story sounds better? And not better in the sense of better morally. Which one is more interesting? Because we're talking about corruption and the gun trace task force, and it goes all the way to the top. The mayor,
right?
If it is as simple as what we're going to get into, then it kind of ends there in that lot. It kind of just ends right there in that lot. But if it's the other thing, then you go, well, who set it up and how did it? You can keep asking questions, and that's the that's the juiciness of conspiracy lore. It's a rabbit hole that you never find the bottom of. There are conspiracies that I know are not true today that I can still watch a video on and go so deep into it because it's entertaining. You know, Justin Bieber's a lizard person. I know Justin Bieber's not a lizard person. I'm not crazy, bro. I was 15 years old when I was watching these videos. But if you watch one of these videos on YouTube and they start showing you videos of his eyes shifting during concerts and shit, you start going like, damn, they're weaving quite a story. Who can weave the story the best? Which story's woven the best is the question. And in the Sean Suter case, one of the stories, the weaves keep going. And in another flip side of the possibility, the weave ends right there in that lot on the day that he was killed.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that you're denying. I'm just saying when you can go like, well, what about this piece of information that doesn't get answered when it's just this? If we keep going, then I can grab this piece of information and then I can connect it right here, and it makes sense. So now I can keep going.
Yeah, I think also what it is for me is if I think if I pick a side, I don't feel comfortable with
The outcome.
what I picked.
I
I don't feel comfortable with the outcome. Where I go like, I don't know, because like it feels like a little. It makes you feel. For me, it just makes me feel like I feel wrong for picking a side
and yeah.
because I don't know if it's
Yeah.
true or not. But then if I do, I go like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that, and I feel wrong because I go like, well, that's what you know. What I'm saying that's what they came up with this story, and I agree with them. But then you go like, what about the family though? Do they agree
Yeah.
with that? And then I'm going against the. It just feels wrong to me.
I get that too. And again, I'm not trying to keep harping on it, but again, I feel almost the exact same way in the case of the assassination attempt. Where I go,
Yeah.
I don't even want to play conspiracy games because like I don't feel clean if I go, yeah, this he did this or he did that. I don't really. Both of them feel really yucky and nasty. Like I don't
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't. I'd prefer that this is just some lunatic. Like I'm cool with just accepting that this was some crazy.
But that's
lunatic,
insane though.
You know,
To like stage that and be like, well, somebody gotta die. You gotta look.
that's what. Yeah,
It's nuts. It's crazy. But that's crazy, man. But if I don't know, man. That's man. And that one feel nasty. That feel nasty.
that's what I'm saying. So I
I
like
get
to,
that.
you know, I don't, you know, so, but I will continue to lay out the facts that we have at our disposal for the Sean Suiter case, and we can have a discussion about which side of the fence we're on at the end of it, or if we've been swayed or not been swayed. So, like I said, after the shooting, the Baltimore Police Department locked down 6 blocks of the Harlem Park neighborhood for 5 days while searching the area for the killer. Because again, they said it was a black male wearing a blue coat. And this reverberated like on the streets. Like this was conversations I was having. People like, oh man, it's crazy down there, but I'm not even driving that way. I don't even want to get pulled over around there. This has affected people outside of that 5-block radius or 6-block radius for the 5 days. They enforced a lockdown with a massive armed police operation. So it was scary, bro. It was militant police forces on the ground walking in tandem with shields and everything. It was like Gestapo shit happening for 5 days. They thought a police officer got gunned down in broad daylight when he was about to, because this was part of the narrative too, he was about to testify against other police officers.
Yeah.
So people thought it was like a hitman got hired, some street level guy got thrown a bag of $5,000 to kill a cop in broad daylight. Police were on edge. You did not want to get pulled over in this area during this time. So the lockdown was indiscriminate, subjecting all residents. Now they say indiscriminate in the notes. I would disagree because all the residents were predominantly black. So it was if you were black and a male walking around, and don't let you have a blue jacket on.
Yeah, with a white stripe.
Oh man, they might just come bow with the stick, just hit you with the stick, and you're like, you don't even know what's going on. So I don't know if that's indiscriminate, but I get what what they mean by the word. But yes, so the lockdown affected all the residents of the area, and they were subject to stop and frisk without any regard for a reason, a suspicion or anything like that. They were just pulling.
How is that legal?
It's not legal, but we're supposed to go, hey man, a cop was killed, so we understand why our rights are being infringed upon, which also calls into question when we get to the result that they came to, no public apology, no any of that kind of stuff, because when we come to the outcome that we come to, you did all that, you violated people's rights, you made people feel less than human, and no killer was found, which we will get to. I don't want to go any further right now, but no killer has ever been found. We'll leave it at that for now. So during this extreme lockdown time, the area seemed more like a police state than a lockdown. Baltimore Police Department officers required residents to obtain police permission to enter and leave their homes, and denied anyone else permission to enter. So if your aunt was sick, your cousin just was recovering from a surgery, you can't come visit them at their house. If you need to go get medication or groceries or any of those things, and you live in the neighborhood, you might not be allowed to go out at this time or at all, or you need special permission to leave your home. This is Nazi Germany.
I get why this is the ghetto.
Yes.
I get why they're doing this, but what is this? How does this solve anything? Are you planning to find somebody who's wearing the same outfit again? I don't.
It also feels hateful. It feels like you people in this community have the nerve to touch one of ours.
Yeah.
Well, until one of you guys confessed to hiding him, you know where he went. It wasn't just about that. They weren't just trying to find the guy. They wanted somebody to drop dime, say that they saw something, say that the guy, he fled to New Jersey. This wasn't just, we're just looking for this guy. It's like, we're going to punish all of you guys until you have your I'm Spartacus moment. Like, somebody needs to step up and say, I can't keep living like this. I saw something.
I think 6 block radius is a bit much. Let's go 6 blocks south, because if we go the other way, that's where the white people live at.
But
So we don't need to worry
you know
about
something that's funny, because Baltimore is like that. Baltimore
Yeah,
can
I
be
know.
one of the
that's
most.
Why I was like, no, we're gonna do it. Let's go 6 blocks this
that's
way.
why
We don't
it's
gotta worry about
Harlem
down that way
Park.
'cause
So
all the
that's
white
a
people
very
there.
specific neighborhood, and I don't think it didn't infringe upon anything like that. But for people who don't know, Baltimore is very much like you can go from, it looks like you're in Syria, to one of the wealthiest neighborhoods you've ever seen in your life in a matter of 4 blocks. And it'll go from impoverished, no grocery stores, food desert, to like beautiful grocery stores. And they make all the streets one way, so you can't even turn off a main street onto the neighborhood. You have to know how to go around the long way to get into the nice neighborhood. Like, so there's no cars that are supposed to be driving down the street, because you can only go one way. They all end in cul-de-sacs, one way in, one way out. There's white Jeeps with yellow lights on them, which is private security, driving around these neighborhoods. I live by one right now. I live in a nice neighborhood, but the neighborhood directly across the street from me is gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's fountains with koi fish in them, and I can throw a football in another direction, and there are people nodding out on a public street.
There's a light that once you go through the light, it's a totally different neighborhood. Going to your house, I go like, this is insane.
It's
that
like a flip
light,
of a switch.
It's crazy.
And I would bet money that if I had a city map and what that city line is, that's where the neighborhood ends.
Yep.
Like right at that light is where funding, and
That's
care,
nuts, man. That's
all of
crazy.
it ends right there at that light. Because there's a shopping center right there, and there's a Family Dollar in it.
Yeah.
And like
That's terrible. It's terrible.
a kidney filtering, like if you have any kind of kidney disease, one of those kind of clinics. I don't remember.
Like a dialysis place or
a
something like that.
dialysis place, all that shit, right on the other side of that light.
Yeah. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Crazy. Got pools and shit. I go, this is insane. It's 7.
Now the way they've like done the lines, the city
And
lines.
I can see people going like, nah, we don't go that way. We go.
Oh yeah, we take the long. I take the
go
scenic
the other
way. There's like deer, bro. There's
It's
deer.
it's like Washington D.C. It's like all these big ass houses and shit on the main street. You go the other way. It's like, man, this is terrible. This is
Chocolate
depressing.
City for real.
Popeyes shit out there.
All right, we don't got to slander Popeyes didn't have to catch that straight like that, bro.
My
They do a blackened chicken strips right now. It's low calorie. I can get a whole dinner for like 450 calories. I'm not gonna let you slander Popeyes.
My bad. Popeyes is delicious stuff.
But you don't see Popeyes
You,
in nice neighborhoods.
it's true. I mean, like, I'm not lying, man. Come on. It's fucked up to say, but I'm not.
I've never seen a Popeyes next to the Starbucks.
Ever.
Not a one,
Ever.
not a day in my life. So, but I fuck with Popeyes.
Popeyes is delicious.
Shout
Can't lie.
out to Popeyes. Popeyes chicken is the shiznit. So we got to go back to this Gestapo ghetto situation. 4 residents filed civil lawsuits against the city,
Yeah.
and the suits were settled, but no details were disclosed. But it included monetary and non-monetary terms. So
What are
some people made out
non-monetary terms. What is that? I can leave?
probably like an apology from the mayor, like a letter or something like that. A phone call. I bet it was something like that. Something more of a gesture. But that tells me more people probably could have sued.
Yeah.
It's 6 blocks.
At the end of that lockup, probably sooner in that case.
Yeah. But you know, lawsuits cost money. So 4 people in this 6 block radius had enough money to go, I'm gonna fight this, bro, because I'm right. They told me I couldn't go to the grocery store to go get food. This can't be legal. All I gotta do is get this in front of the right judge, and I'm gonna win. And that's what happened for 4 people. As we've stated, he was killed the day before he was set to testify in a federal case indicting 8 cops that were from the Baltimore Gun Trace Task Force, which if you have not seen We Own the City, this was absolutely the most thuggish, insane thing led by Wayne Jenkins. They were pulling people over, taking people's money out of their car, breaking into people's house, breaking into their safe, taking $20,000 saying they found 6, admitting 6 in the evidence, and then divvying up the rest, cutting off their body cams, coming up with a script, and then cutting the body cams back on like, hey, guys, we just found $5,000. When I get this money to the police station, it better still be $5,000 in this safe. Meanwhile, they already took 15 of it, broke it up, it's in their pockets. Money is in the body cam like, hanging out of their lapel a little bit. They're like, $5,000, I said,
Yeah.
and it better still all be here, or I will be writing y'all up. It was crazy. They were stealing drugs and reselling them on the streets.
How do you? I mean, I guess some people are followers by nature, where it's just like, I know this is wrong, but if I go against what these guys are doing,
Then I won't have a job anyway.
then I won't have a job.
Yeah.
And I it is wrong, but I understand it. But I'm sure some of those people was just like, I just gotta follow suit because
Yeah. And following suit gets an extra little $3,500 in your pocket every week. And you go, and I'm out here risking my life. I will go into a school if there's a shooting. I will go I will save people. So I think that in a job like that, you're able to see you can see the greater good. Exactly. You go like, I'm a good person, bro. Like if people shoot at me every day, they don't appreciate me. This is post Freddie Gray and all this shit. People are like, man, people don't even respect police officers, man. I deserve this. It's a way for you to talk yourself into it. In another world, at my job, bro, I work at a port. I don't even know if I should say. I work at a port. I don't know any illegal shit. I work at a port. There's all kind of shit that come into these containers. If I ended up seeing something I wasn't supposed to see and they go, hey, man, listen, you're kind of complicit now anyway, so you might as well take this little money and go ahead about your business, or we might make it a little harder for you down here. It's ways to do that. I don't know what the ways are, but maybe, they jam me up. They start drug testing me more. Just make my work experience a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So it's like either I go along with it and I put a little money in my pocket and go ahead about my business, or I say something. And now I'm the snitch of my job. I cause people that people like at my job to get fired. And I'm a pariah at my job now.
Yeah.
One of those sounds a lot better than the other one. But if those people ever get caught, your name's coming up.
Absolutely. 100%. Yep.
So it's like, do you want to look good now to these people or look good to the prosecutor of the investigation that's going to happen someday? So that's where I go, I don't know, because you go, yeah, man, I'm a cop. We just busted a drug dealer. We found a bunch of money under the bed. And the guy who's the lead sergeant or whatever the ranking is like, hey, man, check this out. I'm going to take some of this money. And you're in the room and you're going to see me take the money. So either you're cool and you can take this $1,500 and go take your wife out to dinner and have a nice time, or I'm going to move you from the unit. And then I'm going to tell the people in the unit that I move you to that you're not one of the guys. And then they're probably going to move you to a different unit too. And so eventually you're just going to quit.
I would go, hold on, say that one more time.
I'm like,
record on my
what
phone.
did you? You're going to do what?
You gonna do what? Say it again one more time, please.
So you're going to move me from units if I don't take the $1,500, but now you're a snitch, bro. You can't be a cop you cannot be a cop and be that guy. And that's why that whole good cop thing is like good cop, bad apples, whatever, is like, I feel like in that moment, if you're not on board with the team, you're the bad guy, but that's the good guy.
Yeah.
No, hold it down, man. It's gotta be all for one, one for all. It's not the Three Musketeers, bro. Y'all are talking about stealing money from people. And if you're not down to steal the money, then we can't trust you. But if you are down to steal the money, then the community can't trust you. How can I trust you? I got to call you. You got to help me. And I think that you might steal my money. So that's a tough spot to be in. It's like, do you want to be down with the squad or do you want to be a good cop?
I just want to go to work and go home, man.
Right, exactly,
I
right?
want all this extra shit, man.
But what happens when you just want to go to work and go home? And this is why I say it all, we're going to be a little tangenty because there's so much dense information, right? If the word comes down from the top, meaning the mayor, the governor, it's like, bro, we need dope on the table. I need cars pulled over. I need this much dope. I need this many guns found per month. Or because it's an election year. And the mayor makes sure that the police commissioner gets paid and the police commissioner makes sure people get bonuses. Yeah. So it's like when it gets down to that level, it's like, bro, we need to find drugs. We need to find guns. So if we pull a guy over and I'm like, yo, I'm doing a whole thing, this search needs to end in us finding the gun. I throw the gun under the seat. And you saw me throw the gun under the seat. Then, hey, bro, you're complicit. So either we found the gun or you're going to get me fired. And now everybody in the job doesn't trust you. So now you gotta stand on that lie and just hope that this guy who we just did this to will just take it on the chin.
But now you're throwing your personal shit on me. Now it's on my back. Because you trying to get paid, so you trying to put it on me?
You want to be mayor, so now you want us to go and do the job in a way that might be illegal.
Yeah, so you can make $100,000 a year. I'm still making $65,000 a year.
But then again, when you talk about that bad apple thing, when you get the word that that's okay, you go, then it's okay. Look, this guy sells drugs. We just pulled him over. He had 50 grand in the car. I'm going to take 20 of this. Fuck this guy. He's a drug dealer. When you talk about justifying it, because everybody's trying to do what's in their best interest. And it just keeps trickling down until it gets down to the street level. And now the victims of that trying to get out for self a little bit affects the people. So let's get into the gun trace task force a little bit, which was, Sean Suiter was killed a day before he was set to testify on what he knew and with some of the people that were involved in the gun trace task force. So what was the gun trace task force, right? Some people might not be aware. So the gun trace task force was set up to try to curb the overwhelming amount of gun violence that was plaguing the streets of Baltimore, which is absolutely true. I'm not gonna say that the idea doesn't sound good. It's like, hey man, there's a lot of violence, people are dying, like there needs to be resolution.
Yeah.
But they used it as a cover for robbing citizens, wrongly planting fake drugs and evidence on people, and also on a bureaucratic level, which is more so morally wrong but also illegal. They were engaging in time theft, where they would be down the ocean, on vacation and clocked in for 40 hours and wouldn't be at work. So they not only were they stealing off the streets, they were stealing from the police department too.
Yeah.
So they might have 40 hours of overtime and not even be at work.
Oh, that's crazy. That's
so
criminal.
They were dipping,
stealing from
overly dipping. They were dipping in all the pots. Like stealing from a street level is already like dangerous and gritty and like, damn man, these dudes come with their bulletproof vests on. They're robbing drug dealers, robbing the people. But then they're also like, I'm gonna stay clocked in at work too. Ooh, sneaky. It's like you can't do both, bro. You got 1 feet in the streets and 1 feet in the office, bro. You can't do that. Because the bad guys aren't allowed to do that. And I'm not saying that they should be. It's like, I get to be a bad guy and steal. I get to steal from the bad guys and steal from the good guys, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's greedy.
But doing that and being like, oh, I don't give a shit. Like, how do you do something like that and be like, oh, I'm not going to.
Because I put this bulletproof vest on every day and I risk my life, so I deserve to steal.
I deserve to steal? No, that's crazy. That's nuts.
So in 2010, Sean Suiter was involved in an arrest made by one of the members of the gun trace task force who knowingly planted heroin on a suspect. Sean was approached by federal authorities in October 2017, which was a month before his death, regarding allegations that he planted drugs at the scene of a police chase that turned fatal in 2010. Now, this incident is actually insane. So what happened was Wayne Jenkins, who was kind of the leader of the gun trace task force, you can look him up.
Mm-hmm.
He was involved in a high-speed chase of a guy that he is suspected of being a drug dealer or having a gun on him or whatever. He fled a pullover, stop him. He stopped him in the car and did one of those, and the guy fled. The high-speed chase led to the driver running into oncoming traffic and killing an old man who was coming home from church. So when they got to the police all catch up and everything, the guy had nothing. I don't know if he had an open warrant or something. He ran for some dumb reason. If we chased you all around the city and we don't pull out an AK-47 or a big bag of heroin or something, then why were we chasing you? You're wasting time. That's not what we got you out here for. You're gun trace task force. You guys aren't supposed to be wasting time. You chased him. Why? Because he had an open warrant? That's not worth. A guy died. They threw heroin in the backseat of the car at the scene where this old man is like being put in the ambulance. They're working on him. The guy that they chased is, banged up. He just ran into an old man in a car. Everybody's banged up. Wayne Jenkins pulls up, throws dope in the car. Sean Suiter sees him do it and is complicit in the act. He doesn't say anything. It's in 2010. 2017 rolls around. They're like, hey, man, we found out about this. People admitted, we got people, because people started folding. All the members of the task force started dropping dime on each other. So they're like, yeah, that incident where that old man died 7 years ago, we know that you saw him do that. So we want we know you were there. So we want to know what you know. This is all like, in the weeks and months leading up to Sean Suiter being dead. This is one of the things he was being called in to testify about. But yeah, so that was the incident. That was one of the incidents that Sean Suiter knew about, and that was one of the incidents that he was being called in specifically to talk about. An incident where an old man was killed because of a police chase in which no drugs were found and they were planted by the leading officer on the scene. Now, like I said, Sean got approached by investigators. He denied the claim, but ultimately he agreed to testify, stating that he had nothing to hide. He was expected to testify his witness account, and he was allegedly going to say that he was misled by the arresting officer during the encounter as well. The arresting officer's name, Wayne Jenkins. You can look him up. He's like the front man of the gun trace task force. Now, the Baltimore Police Commission's office was quick to rule out any foul play connecting the shooting to Suter's upcoming grand jury court case. The city of Baltimore wasn't convinced, though.
Yeah.
The people
Like,
weren't
you
convinced.
can't, like, come on now. So no, people, this had nothing to do with that.
They're like,
yeah, right.
Everybody was saying this shit looks too crazy. They killed this guy because he was about to testify against them. This was the word on the street. So, of course, they had to come out and say something. But nobody believed that this wasn't a crazy conspiracy murder for hire attempt, a successful attempt. During the investigation, a tip came in that he was killed after he came across someone's drug stash. So it was like defense, like, you know, he busted a drug moment and they shot him. Rumors of him taking his own life to avoid federal prison was another rumor that came up. And there was a $169,000 reward offered for information leading to the apprehension and conviction of the killer. And I remember right around day 4 of this is when people went, there's no killer. This was the word on the street. They were like, the money has got, because, you know, it doesn't always start at 169. It started off 25. Every day it kept going up. Once it got above $100,000, everybody at my job was like, bro, it's nobody. Nobody knows anything. And if nobody knows anything, it wasn't a person. Because if somebody knew,
nobody knew anything, or nobody was just willing to.
That was the conversation. Was like, bro, nobody's gonna not come and say it's a boo boo or some for $100,000, 169, 150. Nobody knows. And if nobody knows, then it can't be like a citizen, because somebody would
no matter
know.
how much. By the reward being that high and nobody came forward to say anything, nobody knows anything.
That was the conversation that was being had in the circles that I was walking. And people were like, yo, it's no way. Somebody would have came and said, if somebody knew something, somebody would have came forward and said something. $470,000.
People may not come forward because they can go like, all right, well, the country's task force is still around. And if they find a way that I said something, I don't know, I could be a target or something.
Sure.
Whereas like $100,000 is not enough money to risk my life. What he just like, I wouldn't say anything.
But again,
if I knew something.
No, what you're saying is you're speaking from the corrupt level. I'm saying if it was a guy in a blue jacket with a white stripe on it, and his cousin, his friend, somebody else in the drug clique that he's in, could turn in man
right
to get $160,000, because that's why we're all locked down. We can't leave our house and whatever. They think it's one of us. That's when the conspiracy, when they put out the statement saying him going to go testify and him being shot is not related. When also it comes out that same week that the reward is now $169,000 and nobody's saying anything, then you go, oh, one of those cops killed him. Because if it was one of these young boys out here on the street, somebody would have turned them in, is what I'm saying. You're speaking to people know about the gun trace task force and they know how they get down and they don't want to cross them. No.
Yeah.
What I'm speaking to is if it was a civilian that was out here moving a little bit of weight, selling drugs or whatever, that just killed this cop because he saw his stash.
Yeah.
He would have been found by now, because the reward is $170,000. Somebody would have turned him in. That's life-changing money to somebody that lives in Harlem Park.
That's true.
So that's when it jumped to, after that 5 days, people went, nah, man, this is corruption. This is some conspiracy theory shit. Because this wasn't some little knocker kid that sells little vials of drugs to people on the street level that just killed this cop. This is some intricate shit. Because $169,000 reward not being claimed, this is a plan. That's when it moved. That's when it shifted. The narrative shifted to that. By early 2018, the case was at a standstill, with all the tips that investigators had collected leading to nothing. To solve Suter's case, the BPD commissioned an independent review board that comprised itself of law enforcement officials that were retired. So they had no ties to the department and no biases, hopefully. The board reviewed the accounts made on the night of the shooting, which was in 4:30 in the afternoon, as well as anything that came following the investigation after he was shot. So they took all the information they had and they just kind of laid it out and started to break it down. This independent group. Their findings shocked Suter's family, the entire force, and the city of Baltimore when they concluded that his cause of death was not murder, but suicide. Now, keep in mind before you, because I know you have some thoughts on this. This is another case. I know we're saying retired, but this is cops investigating cops in a city that does not trust police officers. After 5 days of violating an entire neighborhood's rights, the investigation concluded by other police officers that were retired was that this man killed himself. What are your thoughts?
He was gunned down. It looks like he was gunned down. I don't.
For what reason?
Him about to testify.
Gotcha. Right, yeah.
I mean, like, that's not, anybody can come to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm. With that set of information in front of you, what other conclusion could you come
right to? You go like, oh no, he was killed. He was murdered. To avoid, I don't think it had anything to do with him trying to avoid time himself. It was, no, we need to, whoever else set this up, we need to cover our ass.
Because this could lead to the mayor, this could lead to the governor.
Exactly. We just talked about how people higher up all have an agenda. Everybody has an agenda where it's like, I need to get paid, I need to keep my job, this and that. I have this what's the word I'm looking for? This image I need to keep. I need to keep this image that I have as being, you know.
I said I was going to be tough on crime. I said I was going to be the police commissioner that's tough on crime. Exactly. So I need these numbers to go down.
Right. And I feel like people, when money is involved, career is involved, family life, I think people are willing to go lengths to protect that. And I think with this, what we have in front of us, like you just said, this is what happened. This is what I think would happen.
So the conclusion that the investigation came to centered around Suter's upcoming court date, leveraging his testimony against the gun trace task force as the sole reason that he would take his life. They argued that the fact that he was shot with his own gun posed enough evidence for suicide, as well as the fact that he was trained in self-defense and was proficient in using and disabling his service weapon. So basically, what they're saying is like, nobody wouldn't have just been able to just take his gun from him and shoot him in the couple of minutes that he told his partner, like, yo, wait here, I'm going to go check the block out real quick.
How does that not seem real? How does that not seem like that can happen?
Okay.
Somebody wait for you in the alley and wait till you get further enough in the alley where they can just shoot you? Like,
well, that's the thing. I think that you're combining conspiracies. So because in that case, are you saying a plan?
Yes.
Right. Because if you're saying a plan, that's different. If you're saying they hired some assassin who also might be a proficient in fighting and all these things, as opposed to some drug dealer dude. People don't know how to fight these days. So if you even know how to fight a little bit, some dude is not gonna.
But I don't think it was a drug dealer. I'm saying it was a planned hit.
I got you. I just wanted to make sure that was clear in what you were saying. So you're saying
I'm not saying a drug dealer.
If they hired somebody who knew what the fuck he was doing,
steals they can do this and be clean and be like, I'm saying I was hired to do this. I was hired for a reason.
Make it look like a suicide.
Make it like suicide. How many shots were fired?
3 shots were fired.
That's why I go like, no.
So again, we're here at the suicide
That's what I mean.
phase.
Like I think it wasn't suicide.
So I want to propose this because there's more information, obviously, but this is the scenario that is proposed, and I'm not necessarily saying I don't believe it. He goes to a lot with no cameras. He knows the area well. He goes to a lot with no cameras. He tells his partner, wait here, I'm going to go do this by myself. He's in the line of duty. He's at work. He goes into an alley with no cameras, and he lets off 2 rounds and then shoots himself in the head. Does that sounds crazy to you? Now, there's more information. Keep in mind, there's more information. I just want to check in with you because we're going to continue. So I just want to check in with you periodically. Time. Right now, I'm saying, based on that, now we have a little bit more information. They're saying he didn't want to testify. There's more to that too, which we haven't gotten to. But he didn't want to testify. He didn't want to have to do whatever, this, that, and the third. He goes in the line of duty while he's still at work. Pop, pop, pow, shoots himself. So it sounds like a shootout, and then he ends up dead.
Yeah.
Does that sound crazy?
It doesn't sound crazy, but then they have surveillance footage of somebody running, right? That wasn't in the alley?
No, that wasn't in the alley. That was on the main street. Because this is in the alley. This is on the main street, but you hear gunshots, you're going to run too. We already discussed this. Me running in my Doc Martin boots.
It doesn't sound crazy.
Okay.
Doesn't sound far-fetched.
Then
I think that can...
We can leave it at that and continue.
Happen.
Because there's more, right? Despite Bominka's, who's his partner, Despite Bomenka's statements indicating that Suter was approaching a suspicious person, there was no indication that anyone else was there with Suter in the vacant lot on November 15, 2017. So even when you say like they saw somebody in a blue jacket, this is coming from his partner who did not follow him into the lot, heard gunshots, and then just kind of investigated the chaos around him and saw people running away from what was technically the scene. But he wasn't at the scene. He was around the corner a little bit because Sean Suter went off on his own. So even the blue jacket guy, that's coming from his partner.
Okay.
So he goes, I saw a guy in a blue jacket running. And then you go pull up places in the area that has surveillance cameras and you see a guy in a blue jacket running. You go, well, he said that and we see him. But they weren't able to find him. But them looking for a guy in a blue jacket is coming from his partner who wasn't there at the scene. Never saw him get any shots off. Never saw anything. So the belief was that he staged the suicide to look like a murder to preserve financial benefits for his family, which is something we discussed. I feel like whatever the last time we talked about it, this is something that we discussed. Maybe not. I can't remember. The medical examiner who conducted the autopsy, as well as the Baltimore City state attorney, casted doubt on the report's cause of his death. Suter's family also rejected the claim, as did their attorney. The family stated that he had no reason to commit suicide. They also argued that not enough had been done during the investigation, including full testing on the weapon used, which contained DNA from Suter and a partial strand from an unknown assailant. Despite efforts made on behalf of the family, the BPD accepted this independent investigation team's findings. And on November 19th, just days before the second anniversary of his death, Suter's case was closed and his cause of death was ruled as a suicide, which negates any money going towards his family based on the ruling. But
because it was suicide?
Because it was a suicide. But if he would have died in the line of duty, which is how it looked out of the gate, when they shut down the blocks for 5 days, they were investigating a murder. In that case,
wait, is this from his job or this is from his life insurance?
They're synonymous. You would get paid your pension. You would get paid. I don't know if he had life insurance, but there's you get money from the police department if you die in the line of duty. And you get your pension and all these things, but you get money from the police department if you die as you get killed, police insurance or whatever it is. It's specifically tied to being a police officer. I don't know if he had life insurance outside of that. But the theory is if he, him dying in the line of duty at work would assure that his family would be taken care of. It's also important to note that while it is believed that he had immunity to go and discuss this incident that took place in 2010 where drugs were planted in the car after an old man was killed in a police chase accident or whatever, that's exactly what happened. Him going to testify left the door open for him being asked about other crimes that he didn't have immunity for. So if he would have gone and testified and they go and ask him about the Wayne Jenkins thing and they go, what about this thing that happened on May 15, 2009? Were you at this place where drug money was taken and divvied up?
Yeah.
And then he's sworn in. If you lie, that's perjury and you can be arrested and fired. So while he was subpoenaed, he had to testify on the Wayne Jenkins. It's not like he volunteered. He had to go testify about Wayne Jenkins planting the drugs in the car. But that left the door open during that interrogation or during that testimony in open trial to be asked questions outside of the scope of any immunity that he might have had on the table. And if he lies during that, because if he goes, no, I didn't take any money, and then they ask another person on stand, and they go, no, he was Sean Suter was definitely there, and he did take some money. Now you perjured yourself, you're arrested, and you don't get anything. Your family doesn't get anything. You're a disgrace. You're a criminal, and you're a disgraced police officer, and you don't get anything anyway. So the theory is Sean Suter didn't want to perjure himself by testifying, and wanted to or leaving his family nothing by being arrested and a disgraced police officer and leaving his family with nothing. So if he kills himself in the line of duty before he has to testify, and the pressure of that, it's like, it's tomorrow, bro. I got one more sleep and I got to wake up and go testify, and they could ask me something that could lead to me being arrested. This is the theory. I'm just offering both theories.
Well, now if that's true, then I think it was suicide. If you do that for your family like that, then I go, that makes sense. That I would do that too.
Because some people say,
100%.
some people people who still want to believe in the conspiracy. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just here to present the evidence and the facts that's available. But some people go, he could have just been fired and like gone to jail for however long he went to jail, got out and been a greeter at Walmart, and he still could have took care of his family. The difference between you dying and your family being set,
that's not realistic.
And you going to go be a felon and have to go try to find a job to take care of your family, that's a tough decision when you got 12 hours to make it. It's like, I wake up tomorrow, I got to go put a suit on and go potentially change my whole family's life forever. Or if I go right now in the line of duty, they might get my pension, life insurance money. I still keep my name intact as a police officer. I don't bring shame on my family. I'm rolling the dice on this plan working out. Bop, bop, bow, I died in the line of duty. And I'm not here to see if the plan unfolds, but I believe I picked a lot that has no camera here. Why wouldn't it look like I got shot in the line of duty? It just didn't go that way after the investigation.
I get that. I get that line of thinking though, because a lot of people can go like, why would you do, like you said, why would you do that? You can go to jail, do your time, come out, family will go. You go, okay. Obviously, your family wouldn't agree with the decision that he made. But as a man, you go, my family being set for life is more important than all the other shit.
5 kids and a wife.
If I'm willing to do this in my life so my family is straight. A lot of people don't understand that. Men will make that decision, go like, I feel much better ending my life on those terms than being a felon on my name and then trying to find a job. I can't get no job, no legitimate job that pays well.
I got to go to prison as a dirty
to
cop.
survive.
So if you want to be selfish, even you go, I got to go to prison as a cop.
Yeah, I got bad rep now, so it's like these would go like that doesn't sound. I'm not willing to live my life that way.
No.
But if I can make this decision and then my family's set, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that, and that's fine.
And that's how I feel. I'm like,
and I get that.
Once I read it in that context, I went, that doesn't sound any crazier than the conspiracy that I have to believe if it was it goes all the way to the top. The mayor sent the call down, and that sounds more plausible, what I just said. Also, the double whammy of not only are you a cop in prison, you're a cop that told on other cops. So the corrections officers aren't looking out for you. And the inmates are like, he's a cop? Matter of fact, I think he stole $2,500 from my cousin one time. Yeah. So I would not want to go to prison under those terms.
Yeah, man, you turned me. I didn't know this. I didn't know this part.
Yeah.
I didn't know this part.
And we are going to end things right there. Please join us next week for part 2. The Sean Suiter story is a twisty, turny one, and we can't wait to get to the conclusion with you guys. We still have a couple more questions to be answered in part 2, and then, of course, we need to check back in with Fran to get his final thoughts. So, thank you guys for listening. Part 2 coming soon. Bye-bye.